So yes, now that takes us on to last night's game, the Eastern Conference Final, Game 1 opener, Boston Celtics against Miami Heat. For the first time in the Eastern Conference Final since, I think, 1984, actually. For 36 years, that there was no number one and number two seed in the conference final. So it's quite historic, as Boston was number 3 team and Miami Heat was the number 5 seed. So yes, it was kind of a good game. It went to overtime. It was quite a dramatical game. As we have a Celtics fan here, it just jumped on our podcast right now. Alexis, it's good to have you back on the pod. You wasn't on a basketball pod, you was on a football pod the last time around. It's good to have you on. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Thank you for having me on. You know I love to talk basketball.
Yeah, lovely. It's good to have you here. So Alexis, what was your reaction towards that Game 1 game, and kind of give us your kind of thoughts regarding this series, where you see it going, and yeah.
Yeah, Game 1 was what I expected. I'm really worried for the series. I think the Miami Heat are the favorites. They go deep. I think they go 8 deep. Dragic is better than Kemba in my opinion. In the sense, he's more reliable. Like, as a Celtics fan, I've watched a lot of Kemba this year, and he was one of my favorite players at Charlotte. You can't rely on him because he has those periods where he's going to get 5 in a row, but then he'll go ice cold. And as a starting point guard at a team like the Boston Celtics, if we have championship aspirations, which we should be aiming for, like a point guard like that, it's not realistic. And I think the series will get decided between the two of them, in my opinion, who's going to have the better game. Because I think Jimmy's going to do what he does, where it's not big points, it's the impact plays. We can't depend on Marcus Smart, like, to be hitting those threes consistently. He has improved. I just think if Kemba turns up, we'll win in 6. But the way it's looking, we'll lose in 7, in my opinion, because I don't think Gordon's going to be back for Game 2. And it's a difficult game to swallow. Like yesterday, the loss hurt. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, from the UK, I think all of us are from the UK. It's 3 a.m. in the morning, and you get blocked like that. Come on, man! It's like you slide into the DM, and she sends the block emoji. Like, nah, get out of it. It hurt, man. Literally.
So, regarding yesterday's game, Game 1. What went wrong? Because you guys were up, I think, by 13 in the last quarter. What went wrong in terms of Celtics kind of capturing that lead and eventually losing that game? You said Kemba was struggling, and rightfully so. I think that's more. Personally, it was more Miami's great defense. I think they really stepped up from the second quarter and really played good defense on Kemba, and he really struggled to get going really offensively. He did make that nice step back jumper to give you the lead. I think it was in the last minute or so, which was nice from him. But what over went wrong in that Game 1? Like, apart from Kemba struggling to get going, what do you think the Celtics need to do to kind of complement, make things easier for Kemba to kind of take the pressure off him for Game 2 tomorrow and to get back in the series?
We were up, I think it was 13 with 9 minutes to go, and part of the reason it's the game of runs. Like, I remember tweeting straight away, this game's not over yet, because literally, Miami are a streaky team. Everything they were shooting felt like it was going in, especially from 3-point range. For me, I think you need to make better decisions. We got 22 seconds left. Marcus Smart flops. We get the free throw. We get it in. And it's just a stupid shot. Please correct me if I'm wrong. You got 22 seconds. He's taking a step back 3. Just drive it. Like, get to the rim, either get fouled or miss. Like, it's a high percentage shot. I think they need to start moving the ball. There was in the last 5 minutes. Maybe it was just me, and it's late at night. Sometimes you start seeing stuff. But I just feel like they literally went to iso ball, and I don't like that. I think Boston are better where we shift the ball around. We win by committee. We don't have a star. Jayson Tatum is a young star. Jaylen Brown is a young potential star. By the way, a statistic, right? Anytime Marcus Smart scores more than 21 points, I saw today, Boston are 2-12. So anytime he scores over 21 points, we're 2-12. What does that tell you?
Surprising.
Yeah, like, it means if he shoots, something's going bad, like, with the remainder of the team. Like,
it's not. That stat that you're saying basically just means the rest of the team, or you're relying on essentially the fourth option to pull weight where like a third or a second tier option won't be doing. So I can understand why the score would be what it is. I mean, the record would be what it is, because at the end of the day, yesterday you lost because Kemba was pretty awful. Jaylen Brown, until he hits, there's a period where he hits 2 threes, but until then, it wasn't even going in. The only guy that was really leading you was Jayson Tatum. But
you know,
go.
You know what you say about Jaylen? Jaylen's not a three-point shooter. And I think when you relegate him to being a three-point shooter, you're taking away his best assets. He is amazing at the drive. Like, I think it was the Toronto game where he averaged 8 from 9 in the paint, but then from out of the arc, he was 1 for 7. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we need to utilize him on the move. He's athletically better than any of the Miami players, in my opinion. Like, he's such an athlete, and we need to use it more often.
Yeah, Tony, what's your thoughts on game 1, and where do you see the series going?
I kind of agree with Alexis in the fact that the Heat are a very streaky team. Like, game 1 was a game of runs. So, like, Miami scored, 16 points in the first quarter, and then they dropped 37. And then they drop another 16 in the third, and then they drop 35. Like, you don't know with Miami. They're either really hot, or they're just missing shots. And another thing with Miami as well, like, as Alexis said, they go deep. One thing I like about Miami, they go deep. You've got Tyler Hero who can come off the bench, who can score. I got to put respect on Tyler Hero's name. I like him, man. I think going to a very good player. You've got people like Iguodala as well. You've got Goran Dragic. Like, when you look at the Heat, you've got a lot of people that can. You don't have a one-off superstar. You have a very good above-average role player and people that can get buckets as well. There's a lot of people on that team. You can get Iggy. Iggy can score. Jimmy Butler can score. Dragic can score on his day. Tyler Hero can score. All these guys can score. But the thing is,
Jay Crowder.
That guy can go off from the 3-point range.
And
that guy can go
off. Like, you just never know with the Heat. But the thing is, with this series, the Celtics are a very good team. Like, we got to remember, they literally lost by 3. Like, this wasn't a blowout. They lost by 3. And so I really feel like this series is going to go deep. If I had to make a prediction, I feel like just going off what I've seen throughout the playoffs, I say Miami in 7. And the only reason I say Miami in 7 is because we've got a deep. Miami have only lost 1 game this whole playoff. They've lost 1 game. They've only lost they've only lost 1 game.
And that
game
very well was,
and that was against the Bucks.
And
I think
the number 1 seed.
And I think they've shown a lot of resilience and grit within their play, which makes them very difficult to beat.
That they can hang around, they can beat you. And at the end of the day, like, the Celtics are and prop to the Celtics, they only lost. Well, they've lost 3. They've lost 3.
But I think we played a better team.
They
I
lost.
think the Raptors.
Raptors.
Yeah.
Raptors,
I think
I feel like
it's a sticky one still.
Because I feel like the Raptors series was a bit of momentum, because really and truly, they shouldn't have lost game.
Boston with a better team.
They shouldn't have lost. The Celtics shouldn't have lost game 3 against the Raptors. I don't know how that ball is going over Taco Fall's head when you're like 8'11", and then OG Anunoby's hitting that 3. I can't lie. If that's practically a sweep or a stunning fight. So that series was a bit of momentum. But at the end of the day, this Heat team, like, man, they go deep. They know how to ball. As Abbas said, and I give you props for it, Eric Spoelstra is a very good coach, man, with a lot of playoff pedigree.
And they trust each other.
Yeah, man.
Like, from the rookie
really
to
Jimmy Butler. And you know what Jimmy Butler's like, man. Jimmy Butler is one of the most hardworking guys ever. So if you play with Jimmy, everyone else is going to be like looking towards him, and you're going to be playing hard for him. No homo. But it came out wrong, but you know what I mean. Like, at the end of the day, I honestly see Miami.
You know what you said about they trust each other?
Yeah.
There was a play, I think it was 3 minutes to go. Butler's in the paint, and he could take a difficult 2, and he throws it out to the rookie in Hero. He makes the 3, and it's a 2-point game, 1 possession. Like,
I know it.
And they were and normally you don't trust the rookie in that situation, but with Jimmy Butler, right, he trusts him, and he openly says it. Like, there's like a whole meme going around where he's like, "Yeah, you lot doubted us."
If you see all season, like, they were like a brotherhood. Like, I think
Yeah.
sometimes it's not always about just the play. It's about who you are and do you trust these people. The problem is, the good thing about it is that Tyler Hero's always going to take that shot because he knows they trust him. Same with Bam Adebayo. He doesn't mind trying to get that game-winning block because he doesn't mind if he gets dunked on. They understand that things are going to happen. And the thing is, like, when you're especially trying to win a championship, because if the Heat get past the Celtics, they could win a championship. You need to trust each other. You need to have that bond. And I think when you have that bond and then you have someone like Jimmy Butler leading you, that works hard, that can actually take you over the top, that's why they're going to cause the Celtics a lot of problems. I see Miami taking it in 7.
Yeah, I hope Miami you take it 7 because I don't want the Celtics having any success personally. I don't want the Celtics having success. So I hope this, Alexis. I hope Miami do take it 7. But I think with the Celtics, you guys have done well this season. I feel like you guys are progressing, and I do feel like you guys can win this series. Because when I looked at our game last night, I think defensively you guys did really well. You guys kind of slowed the Heat in spells. You guys clogged up the paint really well. Your perimeter defense is actually quite good as well. And I thought Tatum was probably your best defender last night alongside Marcus Smart. Like, you got a really good defensive team. I think maybe your biggest weakness in this series, or maybe within your whole roster, in terms of actually really going for a championship, is that there's no depth. It's just a starting 5, if that makes sense.
Right, it's a starting 6 all year. It's a starting 6 all season. Like, literally, Marcus Smart comes in for Tice, and all of a sudden you have the 3 wings, Kemba, and Marcus Smart. And you know what? It works because they do it by committee, the 6 of them. And then you have the Brad Wanamaker that does it. Shemmy's playing too many minutes. He had a good game yesterday, but
Brad had a good game last night as well.
Yeah, Brad
Wanamaker, yeah.
You know, with Brad, right? He earned my trust this year a lot. This guy, he's so clutch with free throws. And you know, with your bench players, you want them making your free throw. I think he was the highest in the NBA this year. I think with 94%.
Yeah.
And he's a very reliable player. Like, he's played 10 years in Europe, 2 years in the NBA. So we can trust him. You just can't count on him. Like yesterday, every now and then you can trust him, but don't count on him.
I hate that still. But Abbas, you're coming to you over. What's your thoughts regarding the series and game 1, and where do you see this going? Boston or Miami? And how many?
Let's be honest. I was the only one that had faith in the Miami Heat to start off with in this entire playoffs, right? Sure. I also said the Boston Celtics are making it out of the East. And after game 1...
Say it again.
Right, okay, what
Hot take.
Watching game 1, I am so much more confident in the Boston Celtics making it out of the East than I've ever been before. That's
wow.
Right, and they make it out in 6 because I just like...
What, 6?
No, Boston in 6, yeah.
He's manifesting.
Just because you like, just what?
Wait, here we go.
Hang on, hot take.
I
ain't trying to give no one any sponsors. Hot take.
After game 1 loss, the Boston Celtics made me more confident that they will get out of the Eastern Conference.
How's that though? Because Miami weren't even at their best. Yeah, credit out to Boston's defense, but I don't think Miami were at their best.
And it goes back to the thing that I always say, right? The fact that Boston lost this game more than Miami won because they gave up 2 leads in the fourth quarter. You had a 5 lead, I believe.
But Miami have done that before they've done that before in the postseason twice.
I think Miami played their best yesterday, though. I think that was Miami's best.
That's what I think they played the best in the fourth quarter. Like that kind of last 8 minutes. But throughout the game, I don't think.
Let me give you why the hot take is coming out. Apparently, it's not even a hot take. It's just.
It's a hot take. It's a hot take.
Slightly hot.
It's a hot take.
The Heat's matchup against the Bucks was like easy for them because they could shoot the 3. Defensively, the Milwaukee Bucks really aren't there. The Boston Celtics, on the other hand, are very good defensively. Very, very good defensively. So you pair that, I would still take, what did they say? Defense wins championships, yeah?
Defense wins championships, yeah.
But Miami are a good defensive team as well.
There we go.
No.
Yeah.
But they're not as good as us. That's the only
I agree with that. Yeah, I do agree.
Better interior D than you, 100%. I'm taking Bam over Daniel Tice.
Oh, no. What? But the difference is, right, we'll limit their 3-point percentage.
More than
across the whole series, we'll limit them.
We can do that, right?
Yeah, and that's a good point because
wait,
it is a good point because Miami do take a lot of threes.
They got Jimmy Butler.
they're the best three.
Yeah, but Jimmy Butler, he's the only real scorer which can really like. He's the only real scorer which can get this.
I mean, saying that in terms of 3 points. I mean, sorry to cut you up, bro. Let's have a look at the stats of 3 points. So Jimmy scored. Jimmy got 66% from the 3-point yesterday. Gorgon got 50%, 3 out of 6 shots. Crowder got 5 out of 9 for 3 points, and Dave Robson got 2 out of 7. So in terms of 3-pointing, I don't think you guys really defended kind of that well. If you're averaging above a 40.
This is my point, Tito, right? They didn't defend that well, and they only lost by 3 points, and they only lost by a block. That is the only. So this is what I'm trying to say. When you look at the game as a whole, are Miami ever going to play like that really over a course of 7 games? Not as much as the Boston Celtics can.